Hello students, welcome back to your science class. So students, today we will going to start with a new chapter, that is why do we fall ill. And here in this chapter we will going to discuss about that of the health. What is the health? What is the importance? What is the significance of the health, students? We will going to understand that of the personal and the community issue also. So question is here that why do we fall ill? Absolutely, there is some reason, and that reason we will going to find in this chapter. So let us start with the chapter and let us see about that of the health.
How can we say that a person is healthy? What is the definition of a health? Actually, health is what, student? Here, health is related. The word you can see, the health is here that how a person is not only physically fit but also mentally and socially fitness is also important. So if a person is physically, mentally and socially fit, then we call that person as a healthy person. What does that mean? It means that not only the person must be disease free, it means that the person must not have any kind of a disease, but also mentally also happy, do not have any kind of a stress, as well as socially, means how social he is, how socially satisfied he is, that will also decide the social satisfaction or social fitness of a person. In this one, students, we also understood that what are the personal and community issues which will causes the health problem in a person. So yes, health means state of physical, mental and social well-being. So obviously a person who is there in the surrounding, they live in the society. So our social environment plays a very important factor, plays a very important role in the individual health. Okay, so we can say here that the importance of the social fitness is really important. The importance of the society is really important for the health of a person. Then students, we studied that what do we understand by healthy and a disease free person. When we say healthy means what? That is related to the person who are do not have any kind of a disease in it. They are called as a disease free person. And when we say healthy, so it is a state of a physical, mental and social well-being that is called as a physically fit person. Okay, physically fit, it means that person will be called as a healthy person. So disease free, it means it is only related to the physical state, but a healthy person is related to both, that is physical as well as mental health of a person. Okay, now coming on, and we have seen that what are the different sources as well as what are the different types of a disease are there. Let us try to understand the term that is disease. What does disease look like? So basically, if we talk about the tissues, our tissues, cells are there, students. These cells, they combine together to form tissue, and the tissues, they make up a physiological system or organ system that carry out the body function. And every organ system, they are having the organs which used to perform the particular function. Like for example, digestive system is there. So stomach, intestine, these are what? These are the organs which take part in digestion of the food. Likewise, if we talk about the musculoskeletal system, so here bones and muscles, you know that for the movement of a person, muscles and that of the bones, they plays a really important role, right? So if our muscles are well, then it will be muscles and bones, both of them, they work together to form the. So a musculoskeletal system is what? That will include bones as well as the muscle of a person. So both of them will help in the locomotion of a person. Okay, so obviously these are what? These are the system which consisting of a different organ like bone or that of the muscle. So what happened? When there is a disease, either the functioning of one or more system of the body will change for the worse, and these changes give rise to symptoms and sign of disease. Symptom of disease are the things which we feel wrong. So like suppose if we are having headache, we have cough, we have loose motion, if we are having wound with pus, or any kind of other pain, body pain is there or swelling is there, these are what? These all are the signs, these all are the symptoms which indicate that there may be a disease, but they do not indicate that what the disease is. Okay, like see here students, we said that organ is what? Organ system, system consisting of a different organs, and they used to perform different functions, right? And the functions performed by them, it can be hindered, it can be interfere by the viruses, by the antigens, even by some of the malfunctioning can also occur. So suppose if any kind of a disease occur to a person, how we will come to know about that the person is suffering from a disease? So this we will come only by the sign, by the symptoms of the person, that will shown by the different body part, like that of the headache is there or loose motion is there. So only then the person will be able to recognize, oh, okay, there is some problem in our body, right? But the disease, what kind of a disease, what exactly is it will be not informed by that of the symptoms. Symptoms or signs are simply a kind of a alert that they used to give us in order to understand that there is some wrong is happening with our body. Okay, that we call as a symptom or a sign. Now for example, here you can see a headache may mean just examination stress, or very rarely it means meningitis or any one of the dozen different diseases. See, if a headache is there, student, headache is what is a very, very common symptom. So it can occur to any person. Okay, so any person, it means it can occur to any person who is having any kind of a disease. So this is what, this is also again, if a headache is there for a few hours or for one day, so you will come to know that maybe your body need a rest, that's why the headache is there. And if it will continues, then what happen, these symptoms will maybe what it will indicate in some other kind of a disease also. So signs or symptoms are there in order to alert us, in order to tell us that there is something wrong which is going in with our body. Okay, now actually this sign is also, but the sign, see, the sign does not tell about the kind of a disease, but the sign and the symptom also help us to indicate that it means what now we have to do. It means it help, like in case of the symptoms only, it help in telling the indication of a particular type of a disease. Suppose you are having a stomach pain. Okay, so the problem is with the stomach. The specialist will going to find out the problem with the stomach only. Okay, so different symptoms will also indicate that what different indication of a particular type of a disease. Although it does not tell the what is that exact disease, but yes, it indicates. It gives the sign. It indicates the kind of a disease. Now disease is also classified into two types, students. As you can see here, this is acute disease and chronic disease. Acute means small. We know that acute means small. Chronic means which is having a long impact. That is called as chronic. Acute disease and chronic disease. What does that mean here? Acute means small. So a disease which lasts for very short period of a time is called as an acute disease. See here. Some of the diseases, there are some of the diseases which last for only very short period of a time, and these are called as the acute disease. There are diseases which occur for a short period of a time, and they are called as a acute diseases here. Like common cold is there. So common cold, it will last only for few days. Okay, for 3 to 4 days. So such kind of a disease is called as a acute disease. While other elements are there which can last for a longer period of a time, even for the lifetime also. So such kind of a disease is called as a chronic diseases. So we can say here that the disease which will be as much as lifetime are called, or a long time are called as a chronic disease. An example is the infection causing elephantiasis, which is common in some part of India. So elephantiasis is what? It is a kind of a long term disease. The infection will remain for a longer period of a time. So such kind of a disease is what? That is chronic disease. Now there is an activity by which we can find out that what kind of a diseases suffering from the different persons. Now let us try to understand about the chronic disease and the poor health. So acute and chronic disease, they are different from each other. So any disease that causes poor functioning of some part of the body will affect our health. And this is because all function of the body are necessary for being healthy. But an acute disease, which is often very soon, will not have to time to cause major effect of a general health, while a chronic disease will do so. See, chronic disease is what? So chronic disease is for longer period of a time, while the acute disease is for a smaller period of a time. So obviously, if it will be there for a longer period of a time, so the impact will be longer. While in case of a acute disease, the disease is for a short period of a time. So it will not going to give any kind of a problem or an impact to that of the particular organ or particular part of the body. Okay, so chronic disease, since it occur for a longer duration, so its effect is also higher, effect is also more. While in case of an acute disease, since the disease is what is a very short period of a time, so the disease is also the impact is also short only. Okay, example here, an example is also given. Let us see what is the example. Think about cough and cold, which all of us have from time to time. Most of us get better and become well within week or so, and there are no lasting effect on our health. But if we get infected with chronic disease such as tuberculosis of lung, then being ill is the ear does make us lose weight and feel tired all the time. We may not go to school for a few days if we are having acute disease, but a chronic disease will make it difficult for us to follow what is being taught in school and reduce the ability to learn. In other words, we are likely to have a prolonged general poor health if we have a chronic disease. Chronic disease therefore have a very drastic long-term effect on the people's health as compared to acute disease. See, acute disease is for a short period of a time. Suppose a cough is there, cold is there, students. So it will not going to remain there for a longer period of a time. So obviously if it will be not there for a longer period of time, so the impact will also be less. While in case of a chronic disease, if some dangerous like that of a tuberculosis, if the tuberculosis occur to a person, then what happens? This will going to harm our lungs. So the impact will be more. In this case, the impact will be higher. Okay, so we can say here that in case of a acute disease, since it will remain there for a short period, so impact is not very high. Now, like if a acute disease is there to a person, the child, the student will be not able to will be able to join the school within few days. But if it will be for a longer period of a time, so the person need time to recover, and then only he or she can join it. Okay, so acute disease is having no lasting effect on our health, but that of the chronic disease have. Now let us see what are the different causes of disease here. What causes disease? So when we think about the causes of disease, we must remember that there are many levels of such causes. See, there are different ways by which the cause of the disease can be caused. And this can happen to anyone. Like here, see, it is given. Let us look an example. If there is a baby and the baby is suffering from loose motion, we can say that the cause of the loose motion is probably an infection. But the question is, where did the infection come from? And suppose the infection come from an unclean drinking water, then unclean drinking water. So how the babies have had this unclean drinking water? So why is it that one baby developed loose motion when the other babies did not? So here the one reason might be that this baby is not healthy. As a result, it might be more likely to have diseases when exposed to risk, whereas healthier baby would not. So what is the reason for the child to be not to be healthy? Because it is not well nourished and does not get enough food. So lack of good nourishment becomes the second cause of the diseases. Why is the baby is not well nourished? Because it is from a household which is poor. It is also possible that baby has some genetic difference that make it more likely to suffer from loose motion when exposed to pathogen. Now see here. Here a condition is given, student, in which it is said that a child is there, a baby is there, which is having a loose motion. So the question arises, why a child is having a loose motion? So the reason can be many, but reason here it is, that is the child may not be healthy. Why? What is the reason behind not being healthy? It is because the child did not get a good nourishment, good nutrient. Now the again question arises, why is this so? Why child did not get a proper nourishment or a nutrient? So the reason is, that is, it is from a household which is poor. Okay. So not only the possibility is this, it means what happened? It means the child does not get a sufficient amount of a nutrient, and due to which there is a kind of a malnutrition, or there is a kind of a deficiency disease occur to the child, to the baby. Chances is also that there are some of the genetic factor or genetic differences are there which may cause the loose motion when exposed to pathogen. And not only this, with the pathogen, when the pathogen is there, this pathogen enters into the body and can causes the disease to the baby. So we can say here that not drinking water properly, or drinking not a clean water, that is responsible for the loose motion of the child. So poor nourishment and infection, these all both of the causes for the loose motion to the baby. So we can see here that the diseases are also they are of different diseases, and the causes are also different. And on the basis of that, we have again categorizes the diseases into two: infectious and non-infectious diseases. Actually here the question is, the topic is infectious and non-infectious causes, but actually it will be infectious and non-infectious disease. Let us see what is the infectious and non-infectious causes. So you can see here in the book, as we have seen, it is important to keep public health and community health factor in mind when we think about the cause of disease. We can take the approach a little further. It is obvious to think of the immediate cause of disease as belonging to two distinct types. One group of cause is the infectious agent, mostly microbe or microorganism. Disease where microbes are immediate causes are called as infectious diseases, and this is because the microbes can spread in the community, and disease they cause can spread with them. On the other hand, there is also a disease that are caused by infectious agent. So their cause vary, but they not are the external causes like microbe that can spread in community. Instead, they are mostly internal. For example, some cancer are caused by genetic abnormalities. High blood pressure can caused by excessive weight and lack of exercise. You can think of many other diseases where the immediate cause will not be infectious. See, what are the different causes of the diseases, student? It can be internal, it can be external. External is what? Which will include some microbes, which will include the infectious agent which causes the disease to a person, right? And internal is what? Which is already there in the body, and that we can say which causes problem in the body itself, like the disease which is occurs due to some problem due to the tissue damage or due to the damaging of the organ in our body, which includes the cancer, which will include the tuberculosis. So basically such kind of a not tuberculosis, cancer is there, or any malfunctioning disease occurs, sickle cell anemia is there, color blindness is there. So So these are the some of the diseases which are genetic and which occur inside, which occurs due to the internal factor. It does not occur because of agent. Agents are not responsible, but they themselves are responsible. They themselves are responsible for causing the diseases. Okay, so disease are also of a two type. One is caused by two, that is internal factors are there and external factors are there. Internal factors are some of the malnutrition or deficiency of a nutrient or any kind of a genetic abnormalities that will cause a disease to a person, but non-infection and that of the external. So agents, the microbes, they are responsible for causing a problem to a person. Okay, this is the infectious and non-infectious causes. Now let us move on, and we will going to see here the ways. There are different ways, students, by which the disease can be spread from one community level to the other, or one person to the other person. And on the basis of the spreading of the diseases, we had again classified the disease into two, that is infectious and non-infectious disease. See students, when in the previous one we have seen the what are the different causes of, what are the different things which is infectious or which causes the infectious or non-infectious diseases. Here we will going to see that what is infectious disease and what is non-infectious disease. So infectious disease basically occur due to the agents. Again, the agents are responsible for the infection, that is called as the infectious diseases. So we have categorized the organism which causes disease into or we have classified them into viruses, bacteria, fungi, animals or protozoans. Some of the disease are by multicellular organisms such as worms of different kind. Students. Let us see here. See, as you can see in the picture itself, this is the picture of SARS virus. SARS was a virus which comes out again through China, and this causes a lot of infection, student. Like you see, today we are knowing coronavirus. So coronavirus is what? This is also came from China, and it gets spread a lot. This virus causes a lot of, it is so contagious, so infectious that it can easily get spread from one person to other person, right? And similarly the SARS was there also, students, which causes a lot of other, you can see the scales of the scale lining here, it represents the nanometer. It is about 500 nanometer, and the scale line, it gives us idea how small the things that we are looking at. Okay, so the first one is the SARS. Okay, SARS is responsible for causing the infection to the respiratory infection to a person. Okay, this is an example of a SARS, which is a virus. Now as you can see here, students, there is another picture, and that picture is of a staphylococci. So see, this is staphylococci is what? It is a kind of a bacteria. Actually coccus is what is a kind of a bacteria which is a spherical in shape. So as you can see here in the picture itself, it is what it is spherical in shape, and this bacteria, it is responsible for causing acne, and even acne, you know, that is, it's a kind of a thing which occurs in the skin. So that is caused by staphylococci, and you can see the scale of the image is indicated by the line at the top left, which is 5 micrometer long. So the size of the staphylococci is there, and that is 5 micrometer long. Now see here, the next one is Trypanosoma, and this is a protozoa. So this protozoan organism, it is responsible for sleeping sickness. Okay, and it basically lies lying next to the red blood cells. So basically it is present in the red blood cell, students, and that will cause us sleeping sickness. Okay, so it is protozoa. Then the next one is Leishmania. Leishmania is also a kind of a protozoa organism that causes Kala-Azar. And Kala-Azar is a fever, so this will be caused by Leishmania, and this is the picture of a Leishmania. Now see here, this organism is what? Basically it is oval shape and it has one long whip like a structure. As you can see here, this is a whip like a structure is also there. So as you can see here, this is what this is the picture of Leishmania, which is a protozoan organism that will form a Kala-Azar. When you look at the structure, it is what? It is oval shape and it is having a whip like a structure. I'll show you how it is the whip like a structure. This is a whip like a structure, students. As you can see here, a long whip like a structure is there in it. And the organism, one organism, arrow is dividing, while a cell of the immune system has a grip to the two whip of a dividing organism. Basically, this is the immune cell. It is about 10 micrometer in diameter. So Leishmania is a protozoa which causes the